This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on a Football Friday on VSiN, the sports betting network, live in downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Great lineup of guests today. Chuck Edel in 30 minutes. The Iceman, a couple of best bets from him. He is one of the co-leaders in the Circa Friday Football Invitational, which you can hear after us a little bit later on tonight. 5-2 last week. Mike Somich on the program in an hour. Best bets in the NFL. And a massive fight in Las Vegas this weekend. Canelo against Crawford. Raheem Palmer, will examine it with him in 90 minutes. Hopefully get a best bet on the boxing match as well. And we're going to take our time going through the entire NFL card today. Sprinkle in some college football as well. How you doing today, Paulie?
All right. Packer fever, catch it. Come on, this defense is nasty.
You want to double down in your comment from earlier in the week?
Yep. NFC goes through Lambeau.
Have you added any bets based on that?
I got a good ticket before that. Before the Parsons trade, I added more division, and I have NFC and Super Bowl as well.
Down to 6-1. Basically, to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Which is absolutely bonkers how fast this has happened.
Uh-huh.
And Jordan Love is now around that same number to win the MVP.
Now, that's crazy.
Well, he was really good last night, though.
He was, yes, but he lost some. He's got a ton of injuries. But that's too aggressive. And 3-1 to win the NFC. Now, minus 160 to win the division. I had to take more of that division. Take some more of that. I'm not there with McCarthy yet, even though he looked great. But I still think it's all about this defense and what they did. I love what Parsons said after the game. You give us 20 points, we should win. I love that quote.
That's a strong quote, but I can see it. Right?
Detroit, 33 points per game last year. Held to 6 till the garbage touchdown on 4th down when Green Bay was going soft. Washington, 28.5 points per game last year. 10 points till garbage time.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is they almost covered the game last night. Imagine they make those 2 field goals, or if they actually put together a garbage time drive last night. They had no business being in that game.
No, LaFleur was right. Packers left a lot of points out there.
They
should have been a bigger lead, yes.
The entire game throughout should have been like a 3 to 4 touchdown game for Green Bay.
Yeah.
They absolutely dominated that team, and here you are with Washington with the ball in their hands, and if they go down and drive and score, whammo, that's a backdoor cover, and oh, by the way, it goes over as well. So it was the worst start by Jayden Daniels in his very short NFL career. Numbers don't lie. Yards per play, explosive play rate, success rate, EPA per play, all the worst by a game-by-game basis in his career so far. So why has Green Bay been able to do this? I'm watching the game last night in real time, and I haven't had a chance to watch the all 22 or break it down from the coach's view yet. I want to go back and watch this game though this week. He would take off, Paulie. As I talked about yesterday, I thought that he would have some running lanes.
Yeah.
It's almost like Green Bay had 2 spies on him because there was a guy in the middle of the field, and then if he wanted to go right, there was another guy. And I'm like, well, wait a second here. He has nowhere to run because multiple guys are watching him, and yet he was incapable of finding anybody who was open last night. You can't play. That's basically playing 9 on 10 then if you're the defense. If you're going to have 2 guys, and I saw it in real time last night multiple times on the quarterback when he might take off, by default, you're going to be able to have somebody open, you would think, on the field. And he was just completely confused last night and incapable of basically having a decent performance whatsoever. And that was the game plan by the Green Bay DC and their personnel, which now Micah Parsons just, this is like Khalil Mack, his first year with the Bears. He made everybody on that defense better. Mm-hmm. And that is 2 games in, it appears that Micah Parsons is having the same impact.
I love how he's so aggressive and he's sending pressure and there's nothing you can do. And I thought Richard Sherman was out of line. Well, McLaurin makes a lot of money. He's got to be that guy to open on 3rd down. I got no time to throw. They have an excellent job defensively.
Yep.
And Daniels has no time to throw, and it's a beautiful game plan, and guys aren't open. I mean, the one guy he did find a lot was Ertz, but look what Debo did. He had 7 catches for 40 yards.
I know.
That's nuts. So they just did an excellent job defensively. They're so fun to watch, and this is what we wanted. We're talking on the pregame show. because the hype train was going crazy after what they did to Detroit. But now they do this again with the hotshot coordinator and offense and quarterback that average almost 30 a game, and they shut them down again. Now, 4 of the next 5 are on the road. So it's a tough schedule coming up. But still, this team is the real deal. And but you had the tough break, though, as well with Reed out 2 months with the collarbone.
That's no good.
No.
He's one of their best weapons. This is a good tweet from Benjamin Solak. A little bit more here on Daniels and the Commanders' offense. They had 2 explosive plays on 65 total plays for a 3.1% play rate. That would have been the lowest explosive play rate in a single game all of last season. That's what we're talking about now. In both games this season, the Packers have notched 4+ sacks, allowed 60 rushing yards or less, allowed 200 net passing yards or less. No other team in the Super Bowl era has done that in each of the first 2 games to begin a season. That is courtesy of OptaStats. So then what's the takeaway here? 2 games that we can tie into this weekend. What do we do with the Lions now against the Bears? Does the offense pop this week because the Green Bay defense is this good? And McCarthy, it was going to take him a long time to warm up, maybe for the Vikings on Monday night against the Bears defense, but once he got rolling?
I don't know. Johnson's back. Maybe Detroit's just broken. We'll see. You get Johnson back for the Bears, that'll be a good test. I'm not ready to say that. I would think they bounce back, but I don't know if what it's going to look like last year. I can't say that.
And then the other one is, okay, so the Commanders, again, they outgained New York by, 200 yards last week? Mm-hmm. And the Giants' offense looked terrible?
Yeah, right.
So Dak absolutely owns this Giants team.
Well, the other, how many guys are wide open? Kraft is wide open.
Oh, the entire game?
Yes.
Here you go, whatever you want.
Deep passes wide open. Underneath stuff wide open.
Sure.
They missed some throws, too. You had the injury. I mean, the plays were there all day for the passing attack, but we said they were going to sell out to stop the run, and it came back to bite them. They contained Jacobs, but everything down the field was easy pickings for these guys.
Here's what I've been saying, by the way, and, for like a good, probably 2/3 of his career already. Once Jordan Love started to play well in his rookie season, like the halfway mark 2 years ago, and especially last year, I like watching the Green Bay offense because he's not afraid to take shots down the field. Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, that sucks now that Reed's out, but that's football, and it's going to happen to almost every team in the league where you're going to lose like a key part at some point this year. But he looks to throw a bomb a lot, and he's not afraid to let it launch. I like watching that quite a bit. And again, if you're gonna not cover Kraft, he's all of a sudden a new weapon who, Reed's going to be missed, but another guy like Kraft could, make it.
Yeah,
not as much as we think here.
He's good. Still waiting for the coming out party with Golden too. But you're going to get Watson back, and they got a ton of weapons, no doubt about it. What happened to Dan Quinn? We were kicking 55-yard field goals now?
Well, not only him, but also Kingsbury, the play calling. Paul, there was a spot, 3rd and 5 in the first half, where they threw it deep, and then they settled for a field goal attempt. Guys, what are you doing? You were automatic on 4th down last year, and you settled for, I think it was at the time, a 51-yard field goal attempt, and you threw it deep on 3rd and 5? What the hell was that?
Yep.
And then that play call later on, I think it was in the second quarter, where Daniels had to throw it like back across his body on like another. What are we watching here? It was horrific play calling last night by Kingsbury.
Why are they so slow?
And I agree with you. Yeah, they were.
They're taking their time.
4 seconds, I think, slower than in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So all this talk about the no huddle, and they're gonna, the tempo is gonna be fast. And oh, by the way, I was duped by the Deebo Samuel stuff yesterday. No semblance of a running game, and he was never even considered. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if he was in the backfield once last night. Mm-hmm. Very bothersome. But the reason why I brought that up, where you can tie it in these other 2 games, think about how bad the Giants were last week. Dak's on a 13-game winning streak against that team. If he wins, it would stand as the second longest winning streak against one team in NFL history. Bob Greasy defeated Buffalo 17 straight times. Brady defeated Buffalo 13 straight times. Right now, Dak is tied with Brady's second most all time.
That's incredible. And they beat him 15 out of 16. The one loss was Andy Dalton in there. So total ownage here. But that does not bode well for the Giants when you look at that game coming up on Sunday potentially.
How about this tweet from Bobby Belt? The last time Dak lost to the Giants, Barack Obama was the president. Game of Thrones had 2 seasons left.
Huh.
Patrick Mahomes was still at Texas Tech. The Astros hadn't won a playoff series in more than a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flagg was 9 years old. Dabo Swinney did not have a title. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah. I think Lamb has a big game based off the drops and what he did or failed to do against the Eagles. And I think Wilson's going to have a tough time moving the ball. But I do like this, that it should be our guy, Cam, hopefully. A lot of stop catching the ball out of the backfield.
I hope so.
Because you look at what Dallas played last year and week one, that should be a lot of dump-offs. But the guy was only on the field for 8 plays. Now plus 350 to score a touchdown now. You just don't know what these coaches are going to do.
Good point.
And how they treat rookies. But Cam should have a good game for us, hopefully.
Sky is falling, potentially, in so many NFL cities across the country after this week. One of them is going to be that Detroit team. If they don't pop, look good, and they got to come out with a win. Otherwise, people are going to just be like, "Oh my God, it's over." And not only over this year, people are going to say the Super Bowl window is over.
Well, everyone knows that 10-0 ATS off a loss. See if they bounce back.
That's pretty good.
And it's a big game for Caleb Williams. He's got to be able to move the ball here, and the 29% off target rate in the Monday night game. So he has to bounce back too.
Yep.
And have a better second half. How about Miami? They had a players-only meeting.
After week one?
Make sure we're on the same page was the quote. How do you get off page? What does that mean? Oh,
if ever a team has had quit written all over it, it could be them.
Yeah, that's a very important first half. VSiN Pro delivers real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits. See where the public and sharps are putting their money. The morning email from Bill 80. Every pick, every host, every guest. 24/7 video, $9.99. Jump in now, vsin.com/subscribe. You'll love the website.
Up next, a huge divisional dog this weekend has actually won or lost a one-score game 5 out of their last 7 meetings.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. Every Friday at this time, we head out to the Progressive Guest Line as professional sports bettor Chuck Edel joins the program, the reigning, the defending champion in the Friday Night Football Invitational here on Circa, at Circa and on VSiN, and he went 5-2. He's one of the co-leaders this week. Nice start, Chuck. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
We've been talking a lot of NFL so far today, and obviously this week. After week one, you get a lot of overreactions. I will raise my hand. I'm certainly guilty of doing that. Got to try to avoid that when you can. Is there a game here on the board that you thought, okay, the matchup, it reeks of like the point spread's too high because of the overreaction to what we saw in week one?
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. And week 2 is a good week to take advantage. During the season, I think people always make a little bit of a mistake when they look just at last week's game instead of the whole season. And it really happens on week 2, looking back at week 1, because that's all you have to look at. So there's always some lines you can take advantage of because of overreaction. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. But I think in the long run, you'll win on those overreaction type games. And this week, the Giants last week were plus 6 points against Washington. Washington obviously rated much higher than Dallas. Now, some things have happened, between now and then. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, Dallas looked really good against Philadelphia, who really was shorthanded defensively, and it showed up in that game. And so Philadelphia now, Dallas now has got a lot of, they get a lot of credit for maybe, beating Philadelphia on that game, and they had chances to win the game straight up. So now the line now is Giants plus 6. It has moved down to 5.5. But, that to me is an overreaction because the Washington we know is rated much higher than Dallas, the same point spread. And I think the Giants, no question, they did look bad versus Washington. But, this is week 2. They'll make some adjustments. I think this is a good matchup for the Giants. I think the Giants' defensive line could definitely take advantage of that young offensive line for the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys will have trouble with the Giants on the defensive line, and their Dallas' secondary is a bit banged up. They got a big injury back there, and I would expect, Russell Wilson, obviously with a bad game week 1, heard a lot of boo birds, a lot of media jumping on him. I would expect for him to improve a little bit here on week 2, and I'm sure they made some adjustments, and I think plus the points is the right side here.
The Lions were terrible week 1. Most people expect them to bounce back. Will you take your Bears if it gets to 7?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I mean, it's just so hard, with the Bears. Just I know they were banged up in the secondary as well, and that defense got tired, as the game went on, and there was guys wide open obviously all game long, and Williams just failed to hit him, But Bears played Detroit tough last year with with a lot less coaching. So I mean, that to me, that line looks a little bit high to me. I would only look at the Bears in that game.
All right, very good. A couple games tonight in college football. You're on the total here with Kansas State and Arizona. Currently, it's 54.5. What did you play?
Yeah, I went over in this game. Matt Wells comes over, a new offensive coordinator there for Kansas State. He was the coach at Utah State. He coached at Texas Tech. He likes to play fast. You wouldn't know that if you looked at the stats, because last week Army held the ball. I mean, Army dominated the Kansas State defensive line. They had the ball in that game for 40 and a half minutes. Kansas State only had it for 19 and a half. So if you look at how many plays they ran and their yardage, it could throw you off there. The time of possession played a big role in that. The first week, the bad weather there in that game in Ireland. So now they're playing an Arizona team whose offense has improved. They hired the offensive coordinator from South Carolina, Dow Lodgins, and the first 2 games, they're averaging 44 points so far in their first 2 games. Last year, they only scored 44 points in 2 games all season. Their quarterback, Noah Fifth, they had 5 touchdown passes last week. They like to throw the ball. They're going to throw the ball as much as run it. And this Kansas State defense has not looked well so far this season. 2 weeks ago, they allowed 35 points to North Dakota. And like I said, last week, the Army offensive line dominated the Kansas State on the line of scrimmage. And, Arizona's defense last year gave up over 31 points a game, 6.3 yards per play. So I think it's been a little bit deceiving, and I think this game goes over the total. It's pretty much 54.5.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, professional sports bettor Chuck Edel, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Now, how about this game tomorrow? It's going to start at noon Eastern, but in the Central Time Zone in Chicago between Oregon and Northwestern. That's 11 a.m. But also on top of that, that means it's a 9 a.m. body clock game for the Oregon Ducks, a team that just absolutely throttled Oklahoma State last week, and they had a lot of fun doing so. Now they go on the road here in an early game. They're laying 27.5. Total is around 48.5. What did you do with that?
Yeah, this is probably for a lot of people is going to be a hold your nose game if you follow my play here, because it'll probably scare a few people. But I do like the game under. And you mentioned, last week Oregon's offense was so fired up last week. Every article you read, they talked about what Mike Gundy said about the team. He called out Oregon for buying their players and really ridiculed them. They were so fired up for that game. They were not taking the foot off the gas pedal, and it showed. So this week now, like you said, Mitch, the 9 a.m. game. I don't feel like they're going to keep the foot on the pedal in this game. First of all, they had the Civil War next week against Oregon State. The week after, they go at Penn State, which is one of their bigger games of the year. And now they're playing a Northwestern team in front of, maybe they'll have 12,000 people there, because they're Northwestern, they're renovating their stadium. So now they're playing like in a backup field, and it only holds 12,000 people. So they're going to be playing at 9 a.m. in front of 12,000 people. They're not really used to that. And, there's been a lot of talk, too, about the Oregon's offense. But don't count this defense out. They have a top 10 defense. They really have solidified their defense last week. They held that Oklahoma State team to 3 points, 211 yards. Northwestern has a decent defense, but their offense is below sea level. And to make matters worse, they lost one of their best offensive players last week, running back Cam Porter, huge part of that offense. He got injured. He's out for the season now. And, even with him in that first game of the season against Tulane, Northwestern was only able to muster up 237 total yards in that game. So this being a lower scoring game, I don't think Oregon runs it up in this one. And I do like it to go under the total.
Very good. Can you give us a tease tonight, your plays that are going to be on the Friday Football Invitational with Matt Youmans following us? Do you know how many college totals you're going to have on your card?
I will have 4 totals, which is the max they let me have. I'll have 4 totals.
Okay.
And Might have one NFL game, and then definitely have a couple sides I really like in the college football as well.
Oh, very good. Can't wait to hear your plays for tonight, Chuck. Thanks so much for the time today. Go get him again this weekend. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
He's on X
care.
at Chuck Edel. Join us on the Progressive Guest Line. That, as you said last week, Paulie, it's a Chuck Edel rule.
It is.
You can only have 4 totals because he's so good at them.
Like the Edmonton Oilers with Gretzky. When stop giving them the power play. Coincidental minors. They're too good.
All right. I like what he said there. This is going to be a hold your nose type of game if you follow me on this one.
Yeah, I can see the case for Northwestern, yeah.
But he's like under
Tough spot
48 and a
too,
half because Oregon's good enough to score,
Yeah, that's right.
35-40 on their own against anybody. I know he just broke it down there with how good the Northwestern defense has been so far. But Dan Lanning definitely has I saw one set of power ratings that had, from a pro better, that had Oregon, I think, 3 points better than every team in the country. Wow, that's pretty strong.
Oh, Moore's been good. They've been excellent. Pretty good test, though. See if they go on the early start and take care of business is a big favorite.
Yeah. Did you bet any of the games tonight?
I did not.
I'm hating myself
These
for
are
not
tough.
getting down on Houston -4.
Yeah, who knows, though? Deion's playing games with the quarterback situation, so he might play 2-3 guys again. And how long will they be out there? Yeah, that one's tough.
That's, I think this week alone, like the high water mark was what, Houston 6? I don't think I saw it touch 6.5. Then it was around 4. Now it's at 4.5 and 5, pretty much all over the place. Well, the one bet I'm going to have tonight is definitely Taylor and Chuck on K-State Arizona over 54.5.
Did they scratch Cease in his base? I was going to bring up his baseball game with you.
I have no idea.
Sears is going for the Padres. The Rockies have played 4 games this year at Petco in San Diego. 0.
Yeah, haven't scored a run.
They've been shut out all 4.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that before
It's
in baseball.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rockies team total under tonight. Actually, I like Cease a little bit better than Sears, but 280 at home tonight against Gordon. All 4 games have been shut out. It's incredible.
Well, I will say this from monitoring pitch counts in the last couple of days. I'm completely that you don't know what the hell these managers are going to do. What Skeens throw the other day? 60+ pitches.
Shut them down.
The
5
guy
innings, yeah.
The guy that Ballpark Pal was high on last night, Ryan Weathers.
Yeah.
60+ pitches in 5 innings, get him out of the game. I don't know how long these guys are going to go in some of these meaningless games.
How about the Mariners? Unbelievable.
I know, truly.
Back-to-back nights.
Yep.
Good for them.
Paul's going to recap a lot of the action from last night and win some, lose some. That's coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better. Better Picks, a daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now, BETR. Sign up today, free $10, no deposit necessary. Download Better today. Great to have you.
All right, we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line to get a lot of best bets from VSiN host and podcaster Mike Somich. His new podcast with Patrick Maher is called Sharp Money. It's dropping every Monday and Tuesday, downloadable wherever you get your podcasts. Next week, going to be available on YouTube as well. On X at SalmoBomb18. Mike, what's cracking, buddy?
Not too much. It's Monday and Thursday for you. So Monday, we're actually recording right after the game Sunday night, which means you get the instant reaction as well as us ripping through the board, talking about any bets we have for the following week. And then Thursday, we run the board, talk about every side, total, and prop that we like as we go through the game. So make sure you subscribe there. Sharp Money, Apple and Spotify.
Very good. My apologies. Monday and Thursday every single week. Let's begin with the Super Bowl rematch here. I think there's a chance the Chiefs could miss the playoffs this year. I don't want to overreact, but I think it could be like a really big down year for Kansas City. And now they get the Eagles. Both teams on a little bit of rest here, but the Chiefs obviously were in Brazil last week, and the Eagles are a very small favorite in this game at Arrowhead. How did you approach it, Mike?
I was shocked at this number. We saw the Chiefs actually open the favorite, which was just wrong. I played a little Philadelphia at the +1 number. I actually played more at -1. You can get it out there at pick right now. You can get it out there at -1, 1.5 on the Philly side. This is an Eagles team. When I look back and I see what they were able to do against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, defensively, they were able to rush with the front four. I don't think they have the same rush ability that you're going to see, but the rest of this defense is still good enough to be able to hold the current version of this Chiefs team down. We got no Rashee Rice. If Worthy plays, he's not going to be able to lift his hand over his head. I don't expect Hollywood Brown to be a legitimate number one in an offense that's going to be able to stretch the field. Juju Smith-Schuster is probably the oldest 28-year-old in the world. I just don't trust this Chiefs offense to be able to consistently move the football. On the other side, the Eagles are going to be able to take shots down the field. We saw the Chiefs sell out to stop the run in the Super Bowl. That allowed Hurts to stretch the field. I think they're able to do it again here. I have the Eagles as a 3.5-point favorite in this game, so I love this spot here for the Eagles.
All right. Excellent. Hope that happens. I asked Chuck Edel. I'll ask you. You want the Bears if it gets to 7?
I want the Bears at any number. I will have a Bears bet. I don't have one in the account yet, but I will have a Bears bet, and I will have a Bears money line as well. And if you're a money line parlay player, I think the Bears are absolutely live inside this football game. I have not bet it yet because I'm waiting and hoping to get a 7. I will take the 6 if that's what I end up getting, or the 6.5, depending on what's available to you at your books here. Look, I watched that Green Bay-Detroit game, and I love Green Bay. I drove the Green Bay bus out of Lambeau this summer when I put the Packers in the Super Bowl in our original guide, but I still thought this was an atrocious offensive line for the Detroit Lions. They were a top 5 unit last year. They'll be lucky to be a top 20 unit this year. Favorite stat of week 1, the Lions had -4 rush yards before contact. -4 rush yards before contact. This is a Chicago Bears defensive unit that actually is pretty good in the secondary. I think they're able to slow down the run. And Ben Johnson is equipped to be able to stop Jared Goff. He knows exactly what he does well, exactly what he does poorly, and also understands how to attack this defense. I think it's a great spot for the Bears. I'll take the 6, 6.5, 7, whatever the best numbers I can get, and I'll be sprinkling on the money line here.
So you're definitely, obviously, with your last comment there, you're avoiding Lions and survivor pools altogether.
Yeah, no thanks. I need to see. Look, people talk about what the Lions lost at the OC and the DC, and that's great. They're right. They also lost 5 or 6 other coaches underneath them, and they lost 2 big-time pieces on the offensive line. It's more than just the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I need to see last year's version of the Lions before I'm willing to price them like last year's version of the Lions, and that's what they're currently priced like in the market. Broncos
playing on the road against the Colts. How much stock do you really put into what Indy did? I mean, Miami looked like a below-average college team last week. They were completely unprepared to play the game. A players-only meeting after week 1 to get on the same page. Never heard of that my entire life. So what do you make of this matchup?
Who led that players-only meeting? Like, who's the veteran voice? Is it Tua that's talking to that team to really get them riled up? Is it Tyreek Hill who didn't get to be the captain? I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'm embarrassed that we had a players-only meeting. I'm not even sure who would inspire me talking in that. Look, this Colts team's interesting because I think one of the toughest parts about moving from week 1 to week 2 is that I hold myself to only upgrading or downgrading 3 total points in a game. So if I'm moving Miami down 3, I'm not moving the Colts up at all. If I'm moving Miami down 2, I could move the Colts up as much as 1. I thought this game should be at 3. When we saw the original open, you could get Colts +3. If it got to 3.5, I was probably going to be a Colts backer here. But with this sitting at 1, I think Denver is 100% the correct side. I think you're seeing too big of an overreaction to how Denver's offense played against Tennessee. I think you're seeing too big of an overreaction to how the Colts did against Miami. So I like Denver quite a bit in this spot. I'll lay the point, take the road team here.
How about some props now? Let's go to Josh Allen and the Bills if you think he's going to get it done on the ground and run a lot.
Yeah, we talked about the defensive coordinator from Detroit taking off. That's Aaron Glenn. He is now in the New York Jets organization as the head coach. Detroit top 5-man defense last year. The Jets top 5-man defense week 1. Josh Allen, the best running quarterback against man defense. Let's take over 34.5 rush yards.
All right. Makes a lot of sense. Devontae Adams over.
Yeah, he wasn't talked about as much, but 19 of the 28 targets went to either Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. Adams got 8 of those 19 targets. I expect he's going to consistently get 8 to 10 targets. We see Stafford feed these type of guys. Adams sitting at 56.5 yards. We'll take the over 56.5 reception yards against the Tennessee defense. Not great in the secondary.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Mike Somich, VSiN host and podcaster. His podcast called Sharp Money with Patrick Maher is going to be available every single Monday and Thursday, and that's available Apple, Spotify as well. Next week, going to be out on YouTube as well. So yesterday we had Paul Charchian on. He called the Kayshon Boutte receiving yard prop this week broken. And he ran down like the last couple of games going back to last year. He's like 37.5 makes absolutely no sense. You're on board with that thinking, yeah?
Yeah, he's dead on. This was one of those that I was kind of waiting to see what was going to be posted, because you don't, like, everyone assumes Diggs is the number one wide receiver in New England, and he's not. I mean, if you just look at routes run, if you look at the specific 2 and 3 wide sets, he's simply not that guy. And so you dig through it and you're like, okay, who is that guy? Well, the answer is Kayshon Boutte. And if you look at last game's week 1, which is the best piece of data that we have right now, he ran 82% of the routes. He was the only wide receiver on the field in both 2 wide and 3 wide sets for this New England Patriots team. So now the question is, was it a fluke? Well, as you said, let's rewind back to last year. He's top 5 in the NFL in the last 4 games in wide receiving yards. Now, that's a little bit of a nutty stat because it's week 18 of last year, and that can be an odd week. It was against the backup Buffalo secondary. But what are we facing today? We are facing a secondary where it matters that Storm Duck is injured. Like, this is atrocious secondary for Miami. You're going to be able to throw the football on them. I want to have some exposure to the Patriots. And when I look through who I want exposure to, it's the person who's running the most routes. It's really just as simple as that. That's Kayshon Boutte. He's sitting at 37.5. I will take the over there. I laddered him all the way up to 80 yards. I believe it's like plus 471 you can get on 80 yards. Let me make sure I got that right. Oh, I'm sorry, plus 376 that you can get on 80 yards. So I took him over 37.5, over 40, over 50, over 60, over 70, over 80, with just smaller units as we go up to try and get as much exposure to Kayshon Boutte as possible, because I do think he is absolutely ready to bust out against a very bad Miami secondary.
Love it. Very good. Excellent. How about Monday Night Football doubleheader? The first game, Houston and Tampa. Play on the total and a prop, please.
Hopefully everybody was listening last week, because we talked about this total. It was at 46.5 for the Houston and Tampa game. It reopened at 44.5. It was down to 42.5 by the time Monday morning came around. Houston may be a generational under team at this point, because you have a top, in my mind, 1 defense, but most people's top 5 defense in the NFL with the Houston Texans, and you've got a bottom 5 offensive line. So it makes it very difficult for them to be able to consistently move the football, and they are going to make it hard on any offense to move the football. You flip over, you look at the Bucs here. They're struggling on the offensive line. We're not going to see Wirfs. We're not going to see Godwin. They started practicing. There's 0% chance they play on Monday night. I think this is a game that's dominated by both these defenses. With the 42 total, there's 42.5s out there. There is still 21.5s in the first half market. I would play that first half market if I'm playing the under here. Hopefully everyone's got that 46.5 in their account. I would take the 21.5 first half under here. And on the under train, let's talk a little about Nick Chubb here. He's sitting at 51.5 rush yards. I love the under here. This is one of the best run stop units with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week faced the Falcons, 12 carries, 24 yards for Bijan Robinson, 10 carries, 24 yards for Algier. If you look at the carry split last week in the Houston Texan backfield, they had 24 carries, only 13 of them went to Nick Chubb. He's getting a little over 50%. I think he is 100% going under this number against a very, very good run defense. And he has a weak offensive line blocking for him. So absolutely love Nick Chubb under 50.5, 51.5. There is a 51.5 out there if you want to go get it. In rush yards this weekend, I don't see a world where they're going to be able to successfully run the football with that offensive line against the run stop unit for Tampa.
Great breakdown. Do you know who you're going to be on for Survivor here in week 2?
I'm going to be on Arizona on the entries that were not on Arizona week 1. And then the question for me is, do I take the free square with Baltimore, or do I take Dallas and keep Baltimore in the back pocket? You have to go 20-0. I kind of want to keep Dallas I kind of want to keep Baltimore in my back pocket, because 20-0 is the end goal here. So most likely just going to be Arizona and Dallas for me.
All right, get Mike's new podcast called Sharp Money. It drops every single Monday and Thursday. Again, Sharp Money, available on Apple and Spotify. Next week, going to be available on YouTube as well. Great stuff as always, Mike. Best of luck here during the Week 2 action in the NFL.
Appreciate it, guys. Good luck in Week 2.
He joined us on the Progressive Guest line on X at Selmobomb18 as well. Great analysis on that stuff. I'm on the Boutte, player prop over already, yards prop, and I'm going to be adding Nick Chubb under as well. That Tampa Bay defense, is absolutely fantastic against the run. 12 for 24 for Bijan last week. We'll get more games coming up in the National Football League. And I will give you a sneaky team to consider for Survivor. This is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We have one of the biggest fights in Las Vegas in several years tomorrow night. It's on Netflix as Canelo takes on Crawford. And Derek Stevens told us earlier in the week this will go down as the heaviest bet fight of all time. I can't wait. I want to bet it. I have not yet. I have some concerns, and I hope maybe I can get some of those answered right now as we head out to the Progressive Guest Line as Raheem Palmer joins the show. Big boxing fan, loves betting on this sport as well, I think. He's a host of the Ringer Gambling Show. Raheem, thanks for the time today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's just an exciting time. We got a big fight this weekend, so life is good.
I want to run this by you first. I was reading a report today on the purse for this fight and how it is split. Do I have this right? Is Canelo set to make between 100 and 150 million on the fight? Meanwhile, Crawford's going to make 10 million?
That's what I'm hearing as well. And I think the biggest thing is that Crawford is actually the only one who wanted this fight. So he had to give in a ton to Canelo because Canelo is looking at this fight like a lose-lose. I mean, you have a guy jumping up multiple weight classes to fight him. So Canelo sees it as like, if I lose this fight, I mean, if I win this fight, people aren't going to give me credit. And if I lose, I have everything to lose.
This might be a dumb question, but it is boxing, so you got to tread lightly occasionally. Could that factor in, you think, to any decision?
Oh, without a doubt. And my wager on this fight actually has everything to do with that. You look at the three judges for this fight, Terence Cheatham, Max DeLuca, and Steve Weisfeld. If you look at Canelo, his history of fighting in Las Vegas, he's never gotten a bad decision. If you go back to his 2012 fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr., Floyd Mayweather boxed he pretty much won every round of that fight. And somehow C.J. Ross still decided that Canelo won that fight.
Oh,
Mayweather.
Yeah.
So Mayweather won with a split decision. And then if you go back to the Dimitri Bivol fight, Dimitri Bivol, he ended up winning 115, 113 on all the scorecards, even though he probably won, 8 or 9 rounds.
That's a great call. Yeah. I remember that fight, too, because I talked the ex into trying to get a $100,000 wire in for that after Megabucks. And I go, what fight are they watching? Because Dan Rafael, ESPN, gave Mayweather every single round.
That's right, yeah.
And yet this person's got Canelo. I go, this is nuts. Mm-hmm. Oh, great call.
Yeah, so, he actually got suspended for that fight. So it's just like you always have to worry about, you always got to worry about who's the A side and who's the B side when you bet on boxing.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this then. If that was not a worry in the world, right? Like we could trust every single judge here involved and it's all going to be on the up and up. How would you proceed then to make a bet? Because I want to fire on Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford is the right answer. You look at this guy, Canelo Alvarez really isn't the same fighter at all. You look at Terence Crawford, he's the faster fighter. Obviously he's coming up 2 weight classes, but I actually think, people are kind of overrating the fact that he's coming up 2 weight classes.
Okay.
You look at the fact that he fought at 154 last year. And, I think he really used that fight at 154 against Israel Madrimov to prepare for this fight. Now, he went through a pre-camp. So he went through a pre-camp to, build strength and muscle. And I think this is a guy who a lot of people don't realize, if you watch the weigh-in, the ceremonial weigh-in is later on today. They had the weigh-in earlier. They had the actual weigh-in earlier today. But if you watch the face-off, they're kind of the same size. And Terence Crawford actually has the bigger reach advantage. He has a 74-inch reach. Yep. Meanwhile, Canelo's reach is 70 inches. And this is a guy who was cutting down to 147. So he was a bigger guy cutting down, and I actually think he might be stronger than people think. I think Crawford is he's just a better fighter. And if they were the same size, Crawford would be favored.
Excellent. Height and reach advantage. You're not concerned about going up 2 weight classes. What are you hearing about the shoulder? Does that give you any pause?
Oh, that's BS.
Okay.
I'm not buying it at all. I'm not buying it at all.
Okay, so rule that out as well. Do you see a knockdown in the fight?
I think if the only way I see a knockdown is if Crawford can't take Canelo's power, because we know one thing about Canelo. We know he has an iron chin. He's been in there with GGG, and I mean, GGG's power didn't phase him. He's been in there with Kovalev. Kovalev's power didn't phase him. You have to go all the way back to when Canelo fought Jose Miguel Cotto, who was Miguel Cotto's older brother. That's the only time he's actually been hurt in a fight. So if if Crawford can't take Canelo's power, he's the one who gets knocked down. But I'm having a hard time seeing a knockdown. And I think there's a reason why you're looking at minus 340, minus 350 for the fight to go to distance.
Yeah. In fact, right now on the screen here, Raheem, we have over 10.5 rounds juiced at minus 475 to the over.
I mean, there's no value on it, unfortunately, because I mean, I think that's the way that everybody would be playing it. Like, I don't see a world where Crawford knocks down Canelo. And I think, Crawford's defense can get a little leaky, but I think he knows that, hey, I gotta have some of the best defenses in my career, the same way he did when he fought Errol Spence. And I don't think he's going to be there to be hit. So I think this fight's going to go to distance.
Okay, it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Raheem Palmer. We're talking about this massive fight tomorrow night out here in Las Vegas. Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Crawford. Raheem Palmer, our guest, host of the Ringer Gambling Show. So you think it's going to go to the distance then? And then, so how did you proceed to bet it then? What is your official bet so far on the fight?
I'm taking the lottery ticket on the draw. I mean, I'm going to play some Crawford. I mean, I'm going to play some Crawford just because I feel like I want to be on the right side of history. But I think the play is the draw. 11-1. It was 16-1. I mean, we spoke earlier about how, Canelo always kind of has a judge in his pocket. I mean, he's the A side. So I think this is a good lottery ticket. I mean, probably one of the best lottery tickets that you could have in a boxing match in a long time because, Crawford could win 9 rounds and they could just come out with a draw. So that's what I'm taking a shot on.
Good. So I have 3 bets that I'm pondering to make. So you're not going to laugh at me. 1, Crawford to win. That was plus 155 here last night. Derek Stevens said they took $200,000 on that from a guy that they completely respect the daylights out of. Okay. So that moved the number here. Mm-hmm. The other one was draw, Raheem, and the other one was how about Alvarez by split decision?
That's 5-1 at DraftKings.
Okay.
Ooh. That is, I like all of those. I think if I had to add one to that, I would say Crawford by points plus 200. The interesting thing, though, is I get the FanDuel numbers because you guys know the Ringer has a partnership with FanDuel, and I'm on FanDuel TV. 72% of the bets are coming in on Crawford, and 66% of the money is coming on Crawford. So this is kind of like it reminds me of Tyson Holyfield 1, where they set Tyson Holyfield. Tyson was like a big favorite in that match, and all the money came in on Holyfield, and no Tyson money came in. I think it's very reminiscent of that. I do think we could see a little bit of Canelo money come in later on this weekend because he has a huge Mexican fan base.
Oh yeah,
but right now nobody's betting on Canelo.
That's a good angle as well. Maybe if you want to wait on Crawford, for a fact that the Alvarez money is going to come in here at some point, and you might be able to get a little bit better number as well. Are you going to go to the fight tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm about to go to the weigh-in in probably a couple hours, a ceremonial weigh-in. I mean, they weighed in this morning because that's how they do things now. They do like a official weigh-in that nobody can get into, and then they have the ceremonial weigh-in. So I'm going there, and I'll be at the fight tomorrow.
Damn. Where does this one rank in terms of overall fights that you've ever attended in your life?
I had to wait on that. My first fight, I started coming out here in 2009, Mayweather-Mosley. That's always going to be the best one for me because it was my first time. But, I mean, I've been to some good ones, so this is great.
Very good. Well, Dynamite Analysis, you can get Raheem, obviously. He's the host of the Ringer Gambling Show, going to the fight tomorrow night. Your official bet as of right now is a draw. I don't blame you. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I think I'm probably going to make the same bet, Raheem. Thank you, and have a blast tomorrow night.
No doubt. I'm probably going to ask some Crawford. But, if any of you guys like Eurobasket, we're taking Germany on to win the championship. So I'm big on Eurobasket. So jump on that.
What's the number?
You can get minus 140. I actually told my followers to play the future the other day. So we already have some, but I'm going to add some more. They play Turkey and Alfred Sengun. A lot of people know Germany. They have Dennis Schroeder. They got Franz Wagner, one of the deepest teams. They blew out Giannis Antetokounmpo in them earlier today.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, very good. Thanks, Raheem. We appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Appreciate you.
There you go. Raheem Palmer on the Progressive Guest Line.
That is Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific. Germany, Turkey.
Okay.
Covered it all there. Very good.
I got to tell
I
you.
like it. I mean, you have it's boxing. I mean, it's
Of course.
just shenanigans expected. Yeah, it's a great recall too about the Canelo Mayweather fight.
Every round.
Raphael's a respected guy.
Oh, he's been doing it forever.
Yeah, it was the biggest bet of my life. And I'm watching. It's like, well, we gave him every round, and I go, oh, wait a second, we got controversy here. I'm like, this sport sucks.
Paul, you have to consider this every time you bet it.
Right. Well, because the Dana White line, too. Same thing happens in the UFC. You know, we talk about Uncle Lou all the time.
Right.
Dana White always says, don't let it go to the judges. I think one of the first fights back from COVID, they had it 30-27 both ways.
They did.
So expect everything.
Oh, my God. I can expand on this coming up. I was at a fight one time when the score, it was the most unbelievable scorecard I've ever seen in my entire life.
Average Joe contest is huge. Edge Boost, all about the weekly prizes. Make 7 picks, NFL or college. Highest score that week, cash is $500. If you already have an account, you get the $1,000. Airfare, hotel, the Circa, in-studio spot on VSiN. Ton of prizes, free to play. Enter anytime. VSiN.com/Joe. Strut your stuff. VSiN.com/Joe. Go get it.
I will also tell you about a 15-3 straight-up mark in non-conference games for this head coach.